Max at an interesting time in his life. Can you give me a
Right.
little insight into where Max is in his life at the start of Lights Out?
Sure. I mean, he's in one of those transitional periods in one's life. Some may call it a midlife crisis. Some may call it an awakening. But I think that you know, uh, he's tired of living life the way that he has. Not that he was a bad person. He just made bad decisions. He's had a hard way to go, if you will. And but I think in essence, he is a good person, and he's trying to find his purpose. What am I here for? What am I on the earth for? What am I here doing? Am I just here to run this rat race? Am I here to how do I contribute? How do I get listened to? Who seeks my advice? How do I become an asset to any situation, my community, my family? And I think that that's the journey that he's on.
So, looking into that, he comes across Duffy, who's also at a sort of crossroads in his life.
Right.
Besides the obvious, do you think that's something that he saw in Duffy as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think that as their friendship and their relationship develops, you start to see more and more of the similarities. I think as most human beings on Earth would start to understand is that we actually have more similarities than differences. If we allow that mindset to be at the forefront of the way that we see other people. And I think that him and obviously he sees something in Duffy, and then so he has to and so he brings himself into the scenario because he sees the potential of what their friendship could be. But I think it's a journey that they go on, and even at the end of the film, I don't think the journey is over for the development of their friendship together in their relationship.
Okay. So, they go into this underground world.
Right.
What is something for you that you would dive into, not like sacrifice for, I mean, kind of in a fun way, that you would go
Hmm.
underground and be in a secret society for?
So there's me as Makai.
You and Mekhi.
um, I can see myself in that world of that fighting world because I'm a big fight fan, MMA and boxing alike. Um, I don't know. It could be the underground world. It could be politics.
Okay.
It could be financial institution stuff. Knowing, having all the ins and outs of how that whole world works. Sort of that boiler room, Wolf of Wall Street type of scenario. Um, but for me as a person, I just don't want to do harm
Right.
to people. I pride myself on bringing light as much as I can, as much as I know how, to a situation, rather than bleakness or despair or hopelessness.
Absolutely. So for Max, we meet some of his family through this journey. Do you think
Mhm.
having his family there helps or hurts him, at least at the outset in his mind?
Well, look, family, when you have something that you love, you're always more vulnerable than if you were just on the move and didn't have anybody or any ties to anything. But I think family ultimately saves him. It gives him and people like him a purpose. Something to fight for, something to come home to. Knowing that in the back of your mind, there's people that love you, care about you, care for your well-being, have your back, want the best for you. And I think that so in that instance, um, it's detrimental that he has his family, that he has his sister and his niece and all of that kind of stuff. Because without that, what would be the purpose of certain things? Like I said, we're always looking for purpose. What am I here for? What am I doing? How am I impacting the world? and so his family is very important.
So, what is it about the role of Max that attracted you?
Um, just trying to figure out how to humanize him. It's easy to be because the script from when I initially got it to what you actually see on screen is totally different. There's certain elements that are still the same, but then character-wise, it's different because you want to humanize these people and humanize these characters, and that to me is the thing that allows the audience to go on a journey, whatever that journey is. It doesn't have to be action. It could be a movie about a botanist who loves to plant roses. But when you humanize a person, you can root for them and empathize, and in some cases sympathize with what they've gone through, and that makes for a much more interesting experience as an audience member to me.